This first report may sound like it came out of a movie, but I can assure you that this is the reality in the Gaza Strip. An IDF commando unit was operating in a hospital in Gaza called Kamal Hospital. In this hospital, the commandos were operating against Hamas terrorists, and they were able to capture and neutralize some 90 Hamas terrorists. Plenty of them took part of the 7th of October massacre attacks against Israel, in which more than 1,400 Israelis lost their lives and more than 250 were kidnapped into the Gaza Strip. In this operation, the IDF uncovered RPGs, AK-47s, explosive devices, and other ammunitions inside the hospital. So far, sounds like a normal day in the Gaza Strip, and particularly when you're talking about Hamas. This is nothing new. But what was shocking about this operation was that the IDF forces uncovered hidden weapons inside the babies area in the hospital, and the weapons were hidden inside incubators within the nursery of the hospital. Hamas terrorists hid weapons and other explosive devices inside incubators in the nursery of the hospital. This is a new low. And that's not even the whole story. A few days ago, the IDF took pictures of a Hamas terrorist that surrendered to the Israeli forces while putting his gun on the ground. This terrorist was identified as Kamal el-Madhoun, which is a doctor that works in the Kamal Hospital. And together with 89 other Hamas terrorists, they turned the hospital into a military terror operation center for Hamas. In Gaza City, IDF forces advanced 16 kilometers from the southern part to the eastern part, creating additional checkpoints that will prevent Hamas terrorists from escaping south and from smuggling additional weapons into the heart of Gaza. The IDF is controlling the majority of the northern part of the Gaza Strip. What it is not controlling are the underground terror tunnels that belong to Hamas. The IDF is inventing new ways of neutralizing and destroying the tunnels and preventing Hamas from using them in order to conduct their operations. One of the ways that was successful is the flooding of the tunnels. According to reports, the IDF is using this new method in order to flood Hamas terror tunnels in areas close to the Mediterranean Sea. But in other areas, the IDF is inventing new ways to neutralize the tunnels, such as the sponge bomb and bunker busters that destroy the entry and exit points of the terrorists from the tunnels. This creates a situation in which the tunnels are still operational underneath, but the terrorists are locked within and cannot exit. In the southern part of the Gaza Strip, Hamas terrorists are evacuating the suburbs and regrouping in the center of the cities in order to conduct attacks against the Israeli forces. But the IDF, together with tank units and the Air Force, are identifying, targeting, and neutralizing Hamas terrorists at the moment they emerge from their underground locations. In another very strange incident that happened in the southern part of the Gaza Strip in the area of Khan Yunis, the IDF conducted an operation against the local governor's house. In this operation, the IDF revealed that Hamas had a vast underground terror infrastructure underneath this house and conducted an aerial strike that destroyed the compound. A day later, IDF intelligence units revealed that Hamas terrorists are still working underneath the rubbles and searching for ammunitions and other military supplies that were left behind. What was even weirder was that the IDF conducted a second offensive against that location. Believing that the terrorists will not come again, the IDF was shocked to see Hamas militants emerging a third time and searching the rebels. We can only imagine what they were searching for. This time, the IDF called on an airstrike with a bunker buster to neutralize the underground compound as well. Hamas was prepared for this war. It has been planning it for many years, and it hid ammunition depots and underground weapon stockpiles throughout the Gaza Strip. Because of Hamas's command system, in which each area has its own commander, and only he knows the whereabouts and the precise locations of the weapon stockpiles and military command stations. When one of these leaders is neutralized, it is very hard for Hamas terrorists to know where to look for in order to find the missing ammunitions. That may be one of the reasons that Hamas terrorists kept coming to the location of the command station that the IDF destroyed in order to seek for the missing information on the whereabouts of additional ammunitions and maybe hostages. It appears as if Hamas terrorists are attempting to escape Gaza into Egypt through underground terror tunnels. In a few incidents, the IDF was able to identify the terrorists as they were entering the tunnels and neutralize the entry points to these tunnels together with the terrorists. In some other incidents, according to the Egyptian military, Egypt was able to capture and to track down Hamas terrorists, and for those who were able to escape Gaza and cross into Egypt, the Egyptian military announced that it is conducting a manhunt for Hamas's terrorists within its territory. In the West Bank area of Judea and Samaria, the IDF is conducting operations to identify, locate, neutralize, or arrest Palestinian terror elements. During these operations, Palestinian terror units conducted attacks, hurling explosive devices towards the IDF forces, and the IDF responded together with an unmanned aerial vehicle that struck the terrorists from the sky, neutralizing 4 of them and wounding others. Back to Hamas. The Palestinian Islamist terror organization issued a statement that they will not enter a ceasefire agreement with Israel to release hostages until the IDF will stop its operations in the Gaza Strip. This is not acceptable, as the major goal of this war is to destroy Hamas. I can't imagine a world in which my girls and boy will grow up in Israel with an enemy like Hamas 2 hours away from our house. It's not acceptable, and the IDF cannot stop until we destroy this terror organization. On Israel's northern border against Hezbollah in Lebanon, it appears that the tensions are reaching a critical level, and any wrong move may very soon lead to an all-out war or to an Israeli operation against Hezbollah on the Lebanese territory. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant stated that the IDF has all the plans ready to deal with Hezbollah and with the Houthis, and we are waiting for the right time. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated that the IDF and Israel must deal with the situation on Lebanon's border with Hezbollah, because we have more than 100,000 civilians that were evacuated from their houses because they live close to the border with Hezbollah. Israel must find a solution before the civilians can return to their homes. Either a political solution or a military solution. The IDF spokesperson's unit cleared for publications the following names of IDF troops that lost their lives in the battles. Yosef Avner Doron, 26 years of age, from Jerusalem. Shalev Zaltzman, 24 years of age, from Ramat Yishai. Israel is the size of New Jersey. It just doesn't make any sense that so many organizations, countries, will care so much about this tiny strip of land that doesn't even have oil. This is a spiritual battle, and the only reason that all these enemies and countries care about Israel so much is because God cares about Israel. the God of Abram, of Isaac, and of Jacob. And this is a war that all of us need to take part in, the spiritual war. So please join me in prayer for God to reign in this region and for the peace of Jerusalem.